This is what it's like having gigabit Ethernet Wi-Fi. I meant to show you this. That might be all well and good, but I'm paying for gigabit. I know I'm not gonna get a full gigabit via wireless, but I think I should be doing a lot better. This is the ASUS RT-AX3000. I picked this one because I'm not sure why. So I'm sure you can figure out by now, this thing behind me, this ISP provided Fios Gigabit router, I've had it for like 3 years now, and I don't think it's really delivering the speeds that it should be. Now, to those of you out there who are tech savvy and computer savvy, the first thing you probably would have done is gotten an aftermarket router. I didn't know that. So I started looking around and realizing that this might be a major problem for me. This thing might be the culprit. So this thing might actually be the problem in the first place. So what we're gonna do is replace it. I'm also probably not gonna leave it here because it sits horizontally. I gotta find a better place to put it. It does look prettier though. So having it displayed somewhere might not be the worst thing in the world. Let's see if it works first. So I've got power, 5 gig and 2 gig lights on. I'm waiting for the WAN light to stop being red because that doesn't look good. So I've never done this before. This is not like a typical unboxing because the person who's usually unboxing knows what they're doing. I have no clue. And I normally will do a little bit of research. I don't know why I did this without doing any research. You can control a lot from this app, like whether the lights on the router are on or off, which if you turn them off, how do you know the router's working? All right, so if you remember, the score is under 200 down to beat. This network uses Wi-Fi 6. I don't even know if I can support that. I don't even know what that is. Let me explain. Yesterday, I hooked up the ASUS router and I was getting really inconsistent numbers. On speedtest.net, I used Verizon's own testing and I'm getting numbers all over the place. My download speed initially doubled. My upload speed dropped by 75%. Then I rebooted the router, I reset my modem, all this stuff, and the numbers both dropped to below 100. It was all over the place. I completely flashed the router, reinstalled the firmware, all that stuff, and then the download speeds went back up to more than double, but the upload speed stayed below 100. Now, on the Verizon router, I had over 200 on the upload. Now I had around 200 on the download, which isn't that great. So the download speed got better, but then the upload speed dropped. The weird thing is, on ASUS's own router site, they have a speed test on their site too, and that uses speedtest.net. I was getting nearly a gig up and down on Wi-Fi with ASUS's own site. From what I understand, you can't get a gigabit up and down on gigabit internet wirelessly. That being said, it was Wi-Fi 6, so maybe I can. But the bigger problem is I don't know what numbers to trust. I tried to spend a little bit less and get what I could for as little as possible. Now, let's see what happens when I spend more. Now, what do we know about this NETGEAR NIGHTHAWK XR1000? It's Wi-Fi 6, it's got 5, does it have 5 ports? It doesn't have 5, it has 4. It also has a triple core processor in it, and it looks hideous. It reminds me of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the ant, the head of an ant. I don't like the way that looks. The ASUS router definitely looks better, although I do have it concealed in a little cubby. So let's see what happens. I don't know. The only way to test this accurately is to use a wired connection to the laptop. this is going to be the final test. And that's it. I have a feeling I'm gonna end up with the ASUS. Oh, okay. The NETGEAR's technically always been the fastest, but given the price gap, being that it's pretty much double the price of the ASUS router, it doesn't give me enough of a boost on Wi-Fi for me to justify the double the price. And then when plugged into a wired connection through Ethernet, it's even less of a gap. And both the ASUS and the NETGEAR routers are hitting over 900 gigs up and down. So even if the NETGEAR router was hitting a full gig every single time, I'm over 900 on the ASUS. It doesn't make a difference. The price difference is not justified. So I decided to look for an Ethernet wire that is long enough to reach from where my router actually is sitting to where I'm sitting here, and also something low profile enough for me to snake it under the carpet. I don't have molding where I can hide wires, so I have to figure something out and get clever with this. This is a 30-foot Cat 6E Ethernet cable that is ultra slim. Hopefully I can thread it underneath the padding under the carpet and no one will notice. And so now what I'm gonna do with this is hook it up to both routers. Right now I have the ASUS router hooked up, but I'm gonna connect this to the ASUS router wired and see what numbers I get. And then I'm gonna connect it to my stock Verizon router and see what I get then. The Fios router was hitting a gig up and down, almost a gig up and down. It was pretty much identical to the ASUS and the NETGEAR routers wired. So if I can get this to work, then neither of the routers are worth getting. Speed test. Yay! Yes. Now I'm not saying that I expected those numbers with Wi-Fi. I know that wired connection's obviously faster, but the discrepancy with what the router's website was telling me on that speed test and the same speed test source through speedtest.net, there's such a discrepancy, and then day by day there were differences in the numbers. And I know also that the servers and all that stuff on speedtest.net can be varying and all that, but every other speed test I tried kept getting all these weird results. So the plan I had is to take this thin micro slim Ethernet wire, run it from my router, which is by my TV, and it has to be there because that's where the Ethernet port is on the wall. It's the only one in the apartment. Run it underneath my TV console table, underneath the carpet, which you'll notice has double padding. There's still a little bit, you can still feel it, which is a little bit annoying to me. You feel it and see it. But anyway, ran it through the carpet and then to the leg of the table, which is black, and sort of just spiraled it around that. The other way I could do it, actually, is run it to the couch and then let it go underneath the couch and then run it along the wall. The only difference is if I run it along the wall, I have to put anchors and make holes, and for now it's fine. I can always figure out where I want to put it after that. But the important thing is that it works. One more thing I have to do, and that is the control test. I'm going to take the stock Fios router, hook that back up, reset the modem, and try this again and see what numbers I get. So, what have we learned in these days of confusion? Number one, the NETGEAR router is ugly and looks like the head of an ant and gives you, technically, in my scenario, the highest numbers quantitatively. But do those numbers justify the price difference? Now, the ASUS router was about $140 and the NETGEAR router was $285. Now, double the price for the NETGEAR router, not even near double the speeds. In fact, only marginal gains of speed, both Wi-Fi and wired. So that rules the NETGEAR out. The ASUS is giving me nearly a gig up and down wired, and at its best performance was giving me around 500 or 600 down. And I don't know if it ever hit that. I don't remember if it hit that high up. Now this is where everything comes back together, is that the stock router that I have is hitting a gig up and down nearly with the wired connection. It's maybe like a couple of points lower in some areas, higher in others. But the point is, so long as I have a wired connection, there's no reason for me to have an extra router or an aftermarket router. Wireless, yes, at times the Verizon router is slower wireless, but there were also moments where it was faster than the ASUS and the NETGEAR. So the ultimate solution, find a way to wire my connection. And now I have maximum internet and I don't have to spend money on any of the routers. So they're both going back. I'm struggling to find a way to end this video. At least like the video, for gosh sakes. Update since I just ended the video a few seconds ago. I found a way to route the wire so that it doesn't end up underneath the carpet so I can feel it when I walk or see it bump up when I'm looking at it. So I hooked up the router on this end instead of that end, and then I ran the wire here, but on the edge here is my double padding, and so the wire sits right next to the padding and it's lower than the padding itself. And it runs all the way along here, under the couch, under here, and up the leg, and you can't see it. How's that for an ending?